150 years ago, the first impressionist exposition was held in Paris. And it would be the first of 8 expositions, the first held in 74 and the last one in 86. And in most sources on Impressionism, you will find only information on 10 well-known partakers. But in total, there were 57 partakers. So who were those other 47 artists? 7 years ago, I started this quest to make a historical reconstruction on the 8 Impressionist expositions and to rehabilitate these unknown partakers. So I started my website, impressionism.nl, and in the left menu you will find the names of the 57 partakers. And on each page, on each partaker, I will render pictures and information, in this case on Corday. And in the sub-menus, you will find other pages on these partakers, in this case on Fignon. Of several unknown partakers, I could find less than 50 or even 10 pictures. And in that case, I render an overview of all the pictures I could find, like in this case of Weevers. And sometimes I render a topographical and thematical overview, sometimes only of the titles, like this page on Le Bourg. Sometimes I combined it with pictures, like this page on Lyon Autun. And some artists are so vanished that even the date of birth and death is uncertain. So I was thrilled to find the birth and the death certificate of Pierre Isidore Bureau, who was born in 1822 and died in 76. And still, other sources will render wrong dates of birth and death, including the Musée d'Orsay. So on my website, you will find much more information on all these partakers, and I hope it will help to rehabilitate them. And most sources on Impressionism render just some well-known paintings of the well-known partakers. But in total, there were about 2,053 artworks exhibited. And except these well-known paintings, what other artworks were exhibited? And my quest is to make a historical reconstruction on these 8 Impressionist expositions and to give an extended and accounted impression of all the works exhibited. 50 years ago, there was a centennial exposition, mainly on the first Impressionist exposition, but they showed just 8 paintings that were probably exhibited in 1874. So not very helpful for my historical reconstruction. More helpful was the appendix of this catalogue. And here, 56 small black and white pictures are rendered of artworks that were probably exhibited in 74. So about 25% of all the works exhibited in 74. And that's a good start. In 1986, there also was a centennial exposition, and this time on all the 8 impressionist expositions. My first reaction was, wow, this is great, so much information on these expositions. Later on, I was more disappointed because the most pictures that were exhibited were of paintings of well-known artists. And it was devoted principally to paintings. And I was even irritated when I read that Charles Moffat, the editor, calls the works of 25 partakers and others inferior. And in this way, he disqualified almost half of all the partakers. And this motivated me even more to rehabilitate these artists and to gather information and pictures, put them on my website, so you can judge for yourself if they were inferior or not, and if they were impressionists or not. Look at my website. What was helpful is that the catalog renders suggestions for about 40% of all the works exhibited, mostly done in the form of a reference. And this catalog, which is a sort of appendix of the new painting exhibition, was more helpful because Ruth Berson renders 842 pictures. In small black and white, but still pictures. So this helped me very much. And you will find these pictures in color and in high quality, if possible, on my website. But that leaves us with about 60% of all the works exhibited for which there is no suggestion. And my quest is still to give an extended and accounted impression of all the works exhibited. So I was thrilled to find this painting of Renoir that matches a description in a review of Rivière. So probably it was exhibited in 1877. And more especially, I'm interested in the partakers that joined 6 times or more. And there were just 6 partakers that did so. And it included Rouard, Quichomin, and Thillot, 3 partakers that are now quite forgotten. Henri Rouard joined 7 of the 8 expositions. He had an active and supportive role, and he showed about 103 artworks, which is more than 5% of the total. So a very important partaker and still quite forgotten. And Berson, of the catalogue I just showed, renders just 4 small black and white pictures. And on my website you will find this picture of Henri Rouard, beautiful, depicting a forest, and maybe he showed it in 74. But we will not know it because he didn't date this picture, and the work he showed in 74 was not described in a review. Armand Quichomin joined 6 of the 8 expositions. He was partly active. He showed in total about 104 artworks, so also more than 5% of the whole. So he also was a very important partaker and also quite forgotten. And Besson shows 15 suggestions. And in 1977, Guillaumin showed 3 paintings depicting a road in the neighborhood of Clamart, but there were no descriptions. So as an uncertain suggestion, I rendered this picture made around 75, also depicting a road and made in very beautiful impressionist colors. Charles Tillot also joined 6 of the 8 expositions. He showed 85 artworks, and Berson doesn't render one suggestion. And maybe he showed this painting of chrysanthemums. Maybe he showed it in 1880 and or 86. But again, this will stay uncertain. But in this way, by rendering these pictures, I want to give some impression of the works that Rouard, Guillaumin, Tillot and others showed at the 8 Impressionist expositions. Less than 2/3 of the works were oil paintings, and the works done in other techniques are even more difficult to identify. For example, drawings, pastels, watercolors, often they are not dated, often they have a general title, and often they are not described in the reviews. So identification is very hard. So in sources on Impressionism, you will not find a pastel that Claude Monet showed in 1974, because the titles are very general, a pastel study, and they are not described in the reviews. But still on my website, you will find 7 pastels as an uncertain suggestion of the 7 pastels he showed in 1974. So you will have any impression. Berthe Morisot showed in 1986 a series of drawings. The sources I use give no suggestion. One review just mentioned dessin, so identification is almost impossible. The plural form indicates that Morisot showed at least 2 drawings. The word series assumes there were more. And I assume she showed 6 drawings, but this is very uncertain. This drawing you will find on my website. Morisot made it around 85, and it is an uncertain suggestion of one of the drawings she exhibited in 86. Zachary Astruc only joined in 74. There he showed 14 artworks, including many watercolors, and one of them depicted Flemish women standing at their window. The sources render no suggestions. It is not mentioned in reviews, so identification is almost impossible. And to compare, I render this watercolor depicting one woman on a balcony standing behind a window. So it will give you some impression of the watercolor Astruc showed in 74. And in this way, I will show many suggestions on my website. But sometimes I can't find a good suggestion made by the artist himself. And to compare, I render a work of another artist or even a photo. For example, Louis Debras showed in 74 a drawing, and it probably depicted the coast of Spain in the town La Rapita. And there you have an old tower called San Juan, St. John. And on the right you will find a photo of this ruin of this tower. And to the left you will find a drawing of Debras, but made in France. So I hope the combination of these two pictures give you some impression of the drawing that Debras showed in 74. In the same way, Weevers, who joined 4 expositions, showed at 3 of them a painting called Bord de l'Essonne. So he depicted the riverbank of the river Essonne. And I only could find a drawing of Weevers depicting a riverbank, but this is not located. So to compare, I render also an oil painting of another artist that depicts the banks of the river Essonne. And again, I hope that the combination of these two pictures will give you some impression of the works that Weevers has exhibited. So on my website, per artist and per year, you will find a reconstruction of the works that they exhibited at the 8 Impressionist expositions, like this page on Guillaumin and the works he showed in 82. And of every 8 expositions, you will find a page with an overview of the works exhibited. And this page deals with the 3rd Impressionist exposition. And when you click on the first picture, you can create a slideshow. And in this case, you will find 215 pictures, giving you an extended impression of the works that were exhibited in 1877. My website, impressionism.nl, contains more than 400 pages, more than 5,000 pictures, and it is still growing. I now render suggestions for about 87% of all the works exhibited, and I want to come to 100%. And you will also find information on other expositions and on the world surrounding the Impressionists. Enjoy!